How's it going, YouTube? This is Chipmunk, and I am here with Phantaki. We are the host of Fandom Geek Culture, and this will be for the Mini-Pod. We are doing a small little discussion on some upcoming horror films, but this discussion is going to be a little different. We are doing something slightly different. We're going to do some guesses. Are you ready to guess with me, Phantaki?
Oh yeah, this is
So
gonna be some interesting ones.
we're gonna take a guess on upcoming horror films Rotten Tomato percentages. So I thought it'd be fun just to guess and see what uh these films and stuff might have as far as just the rating goes, and see if we're close. And we're gonna do both the critics rating and the audience rating, and see if we get close to one of the ratings. Now this is gonna be on stuff that is upcoming but doesn't have a rating already. Uh, so it's gonna be some stuff we're not gonna talk about just because they are like were shown in either another country or in film festivals, and they've already gotten ratings and stuff for those. So this is gonna be on a few of the movies that doesn't have ratings yet that we both have seen. So we have to have seen the trailers and stuff to both to these movies and stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. The first one we're gonna discuss is Black Phone 2. So, Fontaine, what do you think the rating for the critics? We're gonna go with critics first. What do you think they're gonna give it?
Um, this is hard to say because I don't personally myself even I don't think Black Phone 2 is going to do as well as the first film did, especially since the first film is based on a book and this sequel is an original story from Blumhouse. Uh, and not all their sequels always do amazing. They most honestly Blumhouse sequels typically drop lower in ratings than their predecessor. Most notably, this year was Megan 2.0, which didn't do as amazing as the first film that was deemed a really iconic film of just the 20th century. But this one, critics, I could say it to be not like totally harsh on the film. I could see it maybe being around the 60s, maybe dropping into the 50s. But I just because of how the first film did really well, I think there's still going to be like a lot of expectation for this one, to where it could be a surprise hit, but still not as amazing as the first one. So maybe like a high 60s, possibly.
Yeah, I was gonna go with 54 for me. I think it's gonna drop. I think critics are not going to take it as well. I think there's going to be elements in it that is going to really take away from like the critics and how they typically view stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's going to be low when it comes to this, especially in the settings of where they're at now. They're in a whole different location. It's going to be out in the snow. So I think it's going to be tougher for them to pull off a really good horror film that would even match the first one. So
For this new one though, also it's just having that original story is definitely a 50 hit or miss, honestly. And the way that they're going for is pretty much flip-flopping like the first film. Instead of it being, the kids as ghosts, it's the killer now is the ghost or the spirit, whatever. But even like for the few trailers, it's interesting just how I guess he's interacting with the physical world, to put it, and just what they're going for this new story, and just I don't know. There's a lot of progression. It's gonna be interesting, and just I don't know the main actor for the boy. Uh, this year was in How to Train Your Dragon, the live action, played Hiccup. It's definitely more of a mature role than the first film, I guess, to put it.
oh yeah, both of them seem both of the kids seem aged up heavily. Now for
Yeah.
the audience rating, what do you think the audience is going to give it?
Audiences are a bit more kinder to films, I will say.
Oh yeah.
Uh, 73.
Ooh,
I could see like a 73.
interesting.
Because
Because I
that's
was,
the first number that's top of my head was like somewhere in the 70s, but 73 kind of like not like they're not gonna like love it, but they're not also hating on it.
Mhm. I was gonna say interesting enough. I was gonna say this, close to the same thing. Mine was 74, and
Okay.
the reason why I would think, but like you said, audiences are more kinder when it comes to movies. When it shows, for some reason, audiences don't like the shows as
Oh,
much
dang.
as. But when it comes to movies,
Something more fandom or like Star Wars or Captain Marvel, you have certain things in like Marvel, DC, just around just movies around where it is a difference in the score. Critics could love a movie. It could be in the night. Barbarian is also a good example. I think the critic score is like in the 90s, but the audience score is in like the 50s. Yeah, even like I think the last Jedi was the same way. When it comes to movies, they could be pretty harsh, but that normally happens to like a well-known thing that's been around.
yeah, the reason why I was like, I'm gonna say 74 is because I feel like as far as the character goes, Ethan's gonna take it to the max. I think. And I
Hmm.
think when it comes to playing off of like, because people compare him to like Freddy Krueger, so I think of the playfulness with it, especially when it comes to attacking the girl, because I think that's mostly what he's going to be doing. I think he
Yeah.
hunts the brother, but he's going to be mostly going after the sister. So I think it's going to be a flip onto who is going to end up saving who when it comes to the audience wise and the characters. I think the audience is going to enjoy that a lot more than the critics would. So that's why I was like 74.
I'll say, yeah, definitely in that range for sure. I don't think it's critics are going to hate it unless they just do some. It's just a full like, turnaround from what the first film was. I could maybe see maybe more of a discourse.
All right, so next is Keeper. So for Keeper, what do you think the critics will give that one as far as percentage?
So Keeper, for those who don't know, this is going to be Osgood Perkins' third film after Longlegs and The Monkey, which both those films have been well received by critics. But for this one, Keeper, it's hard to say because it's no one really knows what's gonna be this film. It's still quite a mystery project in what they're showing. He's doing kind of the same type of marketing he did for Longlegs by releasing a teaser that is in a weird cryptic message of sorts.
Mhm.
Not like super cryptic, but a weird like phrase or quote being put as like the title for the video. And there's been two so far for Keeper, and I say they haven't really been showing what this plot is going to be. And this one, I don't know, it could be from what I'm noticing, it could be a hit or miss just because the type of horror he's going with in the story plot. This one I could see being in for the critics on Keeper. Oh, I'm not gonna give a set number for this one, but I will say just the range. I think a low 60s for this one also. Probably like a 61, honestly, maybe a 60.
Ooh, funny enough, I was gonna go 70, high 70s, because I was thinking 78 somewhere around there. Uh, well, I was thinking like high 70s. Uh, I was like, it seems like how it's filmed, as far as just the looks and everything of it. I was like, it looks like something that I think critics usually gravitates towards a lot more. Again, we haven't seen like a good like information, like you said, when it comes to Keeper, and it's done on purpose. But I feel like how it looks and how it is shot, I think it's gonna do. Um, it's not gonna do like fantastic, great, but I think it's gonna do pretty nice when it comes to critics.
Yeah, I definitely we'll have to keep more updated when hopefully an official trailer should hopefully drop by October, I would think.
Oh
If not in October. But yeah, this one I don't know, it's until we get more on what this type of film is within like the horror genre and this type of story he might go with. But just when he goes cryptic, Osgood Perkins with or whoever's doing the marketing for this film, just does it how they're doing it definitely raises some questions on what they're actually trying to do. But this one just I don't know. I could see it doing well just because people have liked his previous two films, and this is also coming from Neon, also. But not every film from a director is always going to be, the same. up par with every other one. But this one, I don't think it's going to be a full rotten film, but I do think it's not going to hit as well as like Long Legs and the Monkey did.
Now, for audiences, what do you think they're going to give it?
Audiences between two different, it could be either. Oh no, honestly, I could see this one going into the 50s.
Hmm. I think I was a little bit too generous when it comes to the audiences. A little bit. I went with a low 70 for the audience.
Okay.
Uh, I
I
think
was
that.
thinking a low 70 also, but I wasn't too. I didn't really want to like two. I didn't want to choose two numbers, but I just kind of went with the 50s. Just I don't know, until we get more on what we're
Yeah.
getting. It just got. I don't know. It's just until we get some more. I think I'll maybe boost that number up a bit more on what audiences might see.
Oh yeah. I was thinking like the reason why I was like I think the critics will like it more than the audience for this one. I was like I feel like how the story kind of looks. It looks like a story the audience isn't going to be that attracted to. Um, so I was like, maybe it would be a lot. It would be lower than what critics would give it. But I was like, I don't think it would do horrible with audiences. But I was like, I don't think that they would typically go for it as much.
Right. Like I don't think this is gonna be terrible films. Like I'm not dropping. I'm like these like the 50s range. I didn't drop it too much lower because I don't think it's going. I don't think this film's gonna like be for everyone. Honestly.
Oh yeah, and that's how it is sometimes. Because sometimes it could be like a really good film, but the audiences just don't, care for it. It could be a really, bad film, and audiences still love it. Is That's why we
Yeah.
got cult classics for a reason. It's like bad movie, but still, still
I
loved
love.
and adored by everyone.
Yeah, I'm very curious though. This one, I think I'll personally like it honestly because I've enjoyed his last films.
Next, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 2. What do you think the critics would give a Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie?
This one's a hard one because the first film was rotten. The
Oh
first film's
yeah.
rotten, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
This one though, I'm kind of mixed. My reaction, I'm kind of really mixed on. I haven't posted my reaction yet, but by the time this like mini cast gets uploaded, those reactions will probably be out on my main channel. But this is an original story being made for Five Nights at Freddy's more than anything, because the video game for Five Nights at Freddy's is a prequel to all the other games. It takes place like a year before the first game or something. It's, but this one is taking elements from that and putting it into the movie, but they're, I guess, trying to make their own lore for the movies, it seems like now.
They're also
Especially
taking
because
they're taking stuff
uh,
from the books and stuff as well.
yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Because
And
with
so it's definitely a lot of new original stuff coming together for a movie that not a lot of people will be familiar with, especially because there will be people who are there's not everyone who do know that it's a prequel to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the video game, but there's going to be some people who maybe still aren't like fully understanding like the different like, the adapting changes, from something to just like video game or book, whatever, to kind of like our last week's discussion, just adapting something over to like the screen. Um, it's definitely going to be some people who are going to be a bit more just hateful with whatever new changes that they do and things that they try to incorporate because they'll be like, oh, that shouldn't happen like that, or just things are happening maybe too fast.
oh yeah. So what was your score? Is like low.
Oh, I forgot to score. Sorry, I'm going like a tangent. Uh, but this one, I could see it maybe being a little higher. It doesn't look bad, but definitely a lot of interesting. I could see this one for critics. I will say like a 56.
Yeah, for critics, I said like 50. I think it's like low 50 range or a high 40s. Uh, I don't think critics will tip, especially people who are not really into the Five Nights at Freddy's stories and stuff like that. which a lot of critics tend to be when it comes to a lot of films. It's like that. They
Yeah.
don't tend to be um, like fans going into watching.
I say
Uh,
across the whole, especially like the video game, like there's a lot of the critics when it comes to things, they're not typically also fans or they're kept up with whatever's going on for like that franchise or something. Like Minecraft movie, for example, like there's critics who went into that movie, that movie is rotten. Uh, and it's a lot of it deals with critics who went into it because they're trying to like, review Jack Black or Jason Momoa and like the actors, but they've never played a single Minecraft game or read the books or anything. It's just this fantasy movie that they're going into trying to review, and they're like doing a review bomb or making maybe a complaint to something in the movie that is because there'd be critics who are making a complaint to something for these video game adaptations, but the complaint is towards something that's actually something that happens in the game or something, or is something that's supposed to be. And there's stuff like they don't understand, and that could be something that's in the review that they can complain about, and that could tarnish a movie on their score.
oh yeah. Audience wise, what do you think that they would give it?
I could see this one for some reason maybe being in the 70s, like a 71 maybe just maybe 74, 71.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I have put it as like a 68 for audiences. I think when it comes to like Five Nights at Freddy's, I think they have a strong audience as far as their
Yep.
fan base and everything goes. And I think they will be catering towards the people who are like deep fans of the projects, because it's a lot of stuff like a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of stuff that I normally catch or see that they do place into it, and whether it's off of the video game or off of the books and stuff like that, where they take some
Yeah.
elements and then they just throw it all together, which I think is always a weird thing, especially when it comes to characters, because Vanessa is not really into like the story. Like she shouldn't have been into the story like right now, but
Yeah.
they have her in the story. So it's like a whole bunch of different elements and stuff they just taken from different parts of the uh, the whole franchise of
I
Critics.
think it right. I definitely think it's going to be definitely interesting just because at least on the audience side because it's also an original story. There's going to be a lot of people looking out for like the little Easter eggs and little stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
little nods to the actual video game. But then there's still going to be the people who are like, this didn't happen in the video game, or this isn't adapting Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But even though like I said, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a prequel versus what this movie is.
All right. So next we have Predator Badlands. As as a big fan of like the Alien and Predators and stuff, I know you have a different opinion on like the audiences and how they like it versus critics, because I guess you've
Yeah.
seen like a lot of scores and stuff from the critics before. What do you think the critics would feel when it comes to a Badlands?
This one's gonna be very cautiously of a movie, I say, when it comes to the critics and just how it gets reviewed, because this is going to be the first time that the franchises are going to officially be established as a single universe. And the way that can go into things is a 50-50. Dan, I think the director is Dan Treckenbaum, is how you say his last name. But he's the guy who did Prey, the prequel to all the movies, and then he did Killer of Killers, the animated movie that came out this previous summer. This summer, I guess, this last August. They've been really well received the films for what he's done. The Predator movies get interesting rated. I would say like they're not like when comparing them like Alien, they're not like as amazing as like to me. I'm an Alien person over Predator. I think the Alien films have a better, I guess, world building, and I guess versus I guess Predator. Predator is starting to get it up there, but at least currently now they're having to lean on the shoulder of Alien. I think this one critically, last time I ever seen them was AVP films, which are still technically not canon from what we know until Badlands comes out. This one's a very tricky one for it to be a critic because it's gonna be this one's a hit or miss film. It's gonna be is this gonna be really a hit or miss for this new one? There's already been a lot of just making fun of what how the Predator looks like already because of his like cheekbones or whatever, or just having dreads being more like a ponytail, whatever how they have it. But overall, I think this film, I don't know, to give it a number, oh, I don't want to be harsh with it. Just because I say this guy's done really well, the new director for these ones. Oh, let's give it a 76.
Ooh, okay, okay. 76, yeah. But for critics, I was thinking about a 64. I was like mid 60s probably for critics. Because I was like, I think they really did like Prey and stuff like that as far as critics and stuff goes. It did fantastic with critics. Uh, I was like, I don't know how they're gonna take after like seeing the trailer. I don't know how they're gonna take it, but I was like, I think it's gonna do okay. I don't think it's gonna do fantastic when it comes to critics.
Yeah.
So I was
Oh,
like,
that's definitely curious how they're doing because it's also the first film where the Predator is the main character also.
this is definitely gonna be interesting. Definitely gonna be interesting. Audience wise, what do you think they're gonna give it?
Audiences, oh, I guess seeing it be maybe around the like an 80, I guess.
So I mean, you had both about the same guess. I was like low 80s. I was like 80 or low 80s.
Yep.
So we
Because
both
I
had the
don't
same
think
guess.
because I don't think the audience score will go lower than the critics for this one. If it
Mhm.
does, it's gonna be one of those rare flip-flop moments where the critics love a film and the audiences don't somehow. I think it's gonna be critics are gonna have a bit of a lower score over the audience for this one. Like there's sometimes movies can be equal with their audience score and Rotten Tomatoes score. So this one honestly could even be a 76, 76 on both sides or
Oh yeah.
something.
Yeah, I was like, they have to mess up horribly. I think for the audiences not to like it. I think they'll have to mess up really
Yep.
horribly. So we'll definitely see when it comes to it. So next one is Frankenstein. Both had seen the trailer for that one. We both love the trailers. Critics wise, what do you think they're going to give it?
This one a number already popped in my head, an 82.
Cool, cool.
Mostly because there's going to be two different ways how this is going to get reviewed. Because first of all, Guillermo del Toro is the person who's making this film, and he has stated in interviews or when he post production how this is not a horror film. But the trailer clearly says otherwise. And if in the end, no matter how you really tell the story of Frankenstein, it is a horror story.
We both said
Like no, like no matter how it gets told, like look at the original Frankenstein movie, like the back then the way that movies looked versus now, like it wasn't as like a grotesque film or it was just about this creature, but now like this one it's definitely showing a more dark side to the Frankenstein story from the looks of it. A much more, I guess a lot of people I guess don't understand, but it's that more gothic horror
that.
that
Way
is
more
more
gothic than
on
it
the
was before.
yeah. I love gothic horror, but and it's that romanticized horror, and a lot of it the tones with it aren't as the story of Frankenstein. It's not scary horror. It's a horror within this type of setting.
But yeah, though, I still don't understand why he went with it's not a horror neither because it's definitely is a horror film. Uh,
Yeah.
Even
Like
like Frankenstein's the original wasn't like crazy scary. Well,
yeah,
it
that
was.
definitely yeah.
Like back then, it probably was way scarier, but still, it wasn't like the
Yeah.
scariest thing ever. But it still was horror in the fact of how it's
Hmm.
just done. So it's like, yeah, it's still gonna be horror. He's a horror monster. It's still gonna be that. And it
Yep.
looks like you said darker and everything. And I think when it comes to Del Toro, I think he makes pretty interesting films that critics tend to love a lot. So it's definitely going to be
Hmm.
interesting. Because you said 80s, right?
In 82.
82. I'm gonna go with a 92. when it comes
Okay.
to it because I think critics are gonna like it a lot more because I think that sort of does an awesome job when it comes to changing up a story that's already been done and making it way more
Yep.
interesting. I was so amazed by Pinocchio when he did that.
I still need to see that one. It still looks amazing with the animation.
It was really good. He did a good job with it. So I was like, I think the critics is gonna love it way more than I thought as far as audiences. But what do you think the audience is gonna how do you think the audience is gonna feel about it?
Um, I could see it. Audiences, it'll be a love-hate type thing because not a lot of people are Frankenstein. Like they don't not Frankenstein. It may be a popular story, but it's not like the story you hear about being talked about like for horror. Uh, but this one it has a good cast. Like first of all, like Mia Goth,
I
that
was
has
about
me
to say,
sold. Like being
I
the
was like,
cat, that's like
your girl, man, God, is gonna
that's my
be.
girl right there. Like that film, like is gonna be good no matter what. I'm still sad that Andrew Garfield is not being, the monster.
Hmm.
But Jacob Elordi should be well, even though like you can't even tell it's Jacob Elordi in that role. Like the Frankenstein creature looks unrecognizable in how they've been showing it. And then Oscar Isaac as the Doctor will be great to see him. Just if not mistaken, how they've been marketed, it's like just they got a lot of hot people for this Frankenstein movie. Like they got a lot of hot people for this story. But I could be like a 91 or an 89. I could see it going being between those, like that range. Maybe those two numbers even full on.
Yeah, mine would be probably a surprise for you. I was thinking audiences isn't going to like it as much as the critics. I think the audience, I had that like a low 70.
Okay.
So
I
like
could see it
71,
possibly
70.
just because of that.
So I was like, it's definitely going to be a tough story to sell off to audiences because I kind of feel like it when it came to like Nosferatu and stuff like that.
I was just
Really
thinking
interesting
Nosferatu.
film, but I don't think the audiences will connect to it as much.
Yep. I say a lot of people are also vampire fans. You got a difference between having a story about a vampire versus, just a reanimated corpse. A not your full zombie movie, not full on zombie, but just a dead person.
So next one we're gonna do is Shelby Oaks. What do you think the critics is going to give that one?
But yeah, for Shelby Oaks, this one like a 51. I think just I don't think this is going to resonate as a horror film with a lot of people. This is a mystery horror film, and mystery horror has been doing well, pretty well. Like Weapons did amazing this year, but that one had a different like the marketing for that was something else. But for Shelby Oaks, they released a green band and a red band trailer at the same time,
Hmm.
and the reaction to that red band trailer across just everywhere is just a shock of a film. Whatever we're getting into, I don't even know what the film is. I just know that Shelby Oaks is the name of a town, not a girl. It's a 50-50. Like there's some movies that are just, your surprise hits, but Shelby Oaks, I'm hoping it will do better. At least critic, I hope audiences like it more, but critics I think are going to be a bit more rough on this film.
Oh yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. That's interesting because I had that at a high 50. So I was like 58, 59. Uh, I was like, I don't think it will make it to a good tomato, but I think it will be close to a good tomato. So I was like, I can see it
Right.
being a good tomato then falling off into a bad tomato. Yeah, I definitely see it as a high 50. Let's see it as a high 50 for audiences. Oh, not for audiences, but for critics. What do you think
Right.
audiences are going to give it?
I'm hoping audiences do like this one a bit more, so I'm hoping it could be in like the 70 range, maybe like a 72.
Ooh. Yeah, I had it at a high 70s. So I was thinking like 78, 79. Because I was like, I feel like this would be something. Just watching the trailer, I feel like this is something audiences would like a lot more than critics.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those films where like you have your two types of films, like you have the films that are like I don't know, in theaters, like it's definitely two types of films, like films made for like movie people and then films just to be, for everyone, it feels like. And like this is definitely a film that uh, is targeting that certain like horror group of people that just genre of people who like that film, like this type of film.
Oh yeah. So next is Troll 2. What do you think for the critics? What do you think they'll give it?
I can see this one. This one looks fun. The first film I enjoyed a lot, and this is a German film if I'm not mistaken. Uh, and I think this one could get I think this one be in the 70s, maybe a 74 for this one.
I had said this before. Um, as far as just the troll movies, there's so many of them that critics like that came after like 2005 and stuff. I feel like a lot of critics and stuff tend to like. So I would definitely see them liking this. I know it's been like what about 3 years or so, three, four.
I think the first film came out in like 2021. The first one did like Netflix, like it broke Netflix's records for a good moment at the time, if I'm not mistaken. Or not like full on records, but it was a hit on Netflix for sure. And this one being in like the setting they're going for, like the snowy setting. I do like this like change in the setting that they're going for. And it's definitely Michael in a more of an actiony route, like horror action a bit. But I think critics will like this one, hopefully. And audiences, though, on their side, I think they'll like it too. Maybe like an 86 or something.
Okay. Yeah, I had yeah, critics I was like high 70. Audiences I would think they would like it as well. I think the audiences liked it back then and back in around 2021, like you said, when it first had dropped on Netflix. So I was like, yeah, I think audiences liked it back then. I think it would still do well. And I said it again. I think they have to do something really, really horrible for the audiences not to like it. So I'm gonna go with a low 80 for it.
Okay.
So 80.
So a good 80s range, we think, for that audience meter.
Mm-hmm. So next one we have is the Carpenter. So that's the one with not Jack Nicholson. I was gonna say Jack Nicholson. But Nicolas Cage. So what do you think the just by the teaser wise? What do you think the critics will give it? 'Cause it was a
This one, oh, like Nicolas Cage has had made his bad horror movies before. He has made some pretty bad movies in the horror genre, but lately he's done amazing. Especially, long legs of most recent things. But this one, where it is the first time in like any movie, like horror, first of all, for a genre, for this character of a person to be appearing in a horror film, Jesus. We're getting a horror film about Jesus, and that first of all is that's making the Christians, that's making the church spin their heads around. This I think could be in the 20s. This is probably the lowest score I think out of any of the films we've talked about, but critics, especially there's going to be a lot of critics who are church loving. Um, I think this oh the first number that did come to mind was a 21. The highest number I gave it was like a 24. That's very low 20s, I think, honestly, for this one. It's definitely a film for people who want to see, this is definitely not a film for Christians. This is definitely just gonna be made for people who want to see, Jesus in that dark story or something, but also, it's Nicolas Cage. So who knows what type of performance he's gonna be given. So he could give a hell of a performance, as Jesus or whatever, for whatever story they go for, whatever that teaser was. It definitely was a lot of demonic stuff is going for sure show. But this could be a hit. Honestly, it could be a rare hit. But just because of just the religious side of stuff being played in this film, I can see the film being attacked or just like review bombed. So it could get at the low 20s. Audience side of things, they'll be a bit more gracious for sure. I think for this one. Um, oh, maybe if it could be like a mid 50s, I guess, range for the audience score on that one.
Yeah, for me, I had critics at a low 30s. I was thinking like 31 or something like that. The audience is what I was torn on because I felt like audience is going to be the more crucial when it comes to religious stuff, especially um, dealing with Jesus and everything. You see how audiences felt when it came to a lot of different stuff that came out where Jesus was portrayed. I was like, thank God this Nicolas Cage played it. It's a white guy because
Oh yeah.
that would be even worse if it was another race playing. But I was like, maybe for audiences, I said a low 40. Um, but I was like, I feel like it will be fun for those who are just into horror and don't typically care. It might be fun for them,
Exactly.
but like as far as just any just Christians goes, and they just see that, I don't even think they're gonna watch it. Just gonna just bash it and put it in for Rotten Tomatoes without watching it. I really do. I really do think they'll do that. Like Christian would do that. So I don't think it's gonna do well. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking on that. Just it's not gonna do too typically well with them. Uh, but yeah, next we have Shale. We both just recently just watched that together. What do you think, critics wise? How you think that one's gonna do?
I'll say that one's an interesting one because, like I said, we just watched that trailer together before this recording, and what a mixed bag of genre. First of all, it looks like the trailer. First of all, it felt like we were watching a comedy at first that turned into a weird drama, then like a sci-fi film for a sec, then to horror. Like it felt like kind of like The Substance in a way. Like The Substance is like to me, it's like a sci-fi horror bit just because of the serum
Hmm.
with that body horror stuff going on. This one, I'm curious. I can't tell what they're trying to do for this one. It definitely is one of those. It's a genre I kind of like. It's a more recent, like more genre that's been kind of trying to establish itself, but cosmetic horror, I like to put it, to where it's horror that deals with the self and like it mixes a lot of body horror into it for sure, but about it deals with your look, your looks and everything, and just like The Substance we've had, the most recent. I don't know if you ever heard of the film called The Neon Demon. That's another one that is kind of like that realm of just beauty, like a sense of beauty, but dread also, I guess, mixed in with it. And that's what this one is looking like. This lady is trying to like this body she's trying to have, but like the way they're also trying to like mix like a bit of cannibalism, like trying to make the perfect body, but then it turns out it's gonna be like to be eaten or something. This one's a mixed bag. Uh, for it's so this one I can see being in like low 50s.
Good. I put it for critics. I put it around high 40s, maybe. I was thinking like 48, something like that. So I was like, I agree, but I feel like it probably be too much for audience, for not for audience, but for critics and stuff. It definitely has a lot going on, a lot going on in this.
A lot.
And I was like, I don't know what to tell exactly from different points, whether they're gonna go for a certain type of horror, because it seems like it's such a mixed bag of just stuff that they're just doing. Because she get like kidnapped or something like that. Because I seen someone grab her from
Yeah,
uh, and then you have all this other weird stuff that's happening, like you said, the cannibalism stuff. So I don't know how
yeah,
that relates to her body and exactly what they're doing with the body. Then you have the, like you said, body horror. They were pulling something out of her neck. It's
Yeah,
like
like oh,
it's a lot, but I feel like I'm more confused on where they're going to be taking it because I feel like she didn't really change. So I don't know what exactly they're using for bodies. That's
right.
Let's see another one because it's like, man, it's a lot happening in that one trailer.
I think it's a lot to where it's I don't think there's a set genre, but it definitely is leaning more into the horror thriller type of stuff. I don't really know too much also if there is too much sci-fi stuff going on, but that machine she was going into or whatever she was putting on her face, that device. I don't know if it's maybe just like a something, like I've seen it in real life. It's just you put it on your face and it like just exfoliates yourself or something, or just cleans your skin up. I don't know. But this movie, it's definitely an interesting one that's coming out. Audiences, I think audiences. I think I said already, or did we just do critics?
It's just critics. We're doing audiences next. You'll be doing audience.
So yeah, the audience side for this, though, I could see it be a bit higher just because it just this mixed bag of a story and just the insane stuff going on. I could see it being in the 70s, low 70s though.
Ooh, nice, nice. Yeah, I have put it for audiences a low 40. I was like,
Okay,
I think they're gonna be about close to each other, but I was like, I'm not
okay.
sure. But I was gonna go with a close to each other type of percentage wise for audiences and critics. Uh, I was like, if it does happen, I think it'll probably be on this film.
That will be interesting if that actually happens. I'll say this one's still a very just mixed genre of the film. That's for sure to put it. Like it
Like,
definitely, I did also feel just a whole bunch of like, it feels like references to other films being put in, but definitely interesting. Just whatever story they're trying to come up with for this.
oh yeah, that's why I was like for these, whether it's like Keeper or Shell or until like more comes out for it, that may change for our like ideas of where it would be. So yeah, this is just us going off of just what we've seen as far as teasers and trailers and stuff. So full trailers come out, we'll probably change our minds on it and how we think it's going to be viewed, or even more trailers for like Five Nights at Freddy's and
Right.
other stuff. More stuff comes out, we get better depiction of certain stuff. Our minds will probably change on it. So yeah, we're just doing an early guess for this, just to see if we get it correct or not. Just a little fun thing that I was wanting to do with this. So I was like, yeah, let's try it out and see. So yeah, that's our picks for upcoming horror films. It seems like it's going to be a fun time for horror for the rest of 2025. Definitely going to be interesting. So can't wait for it. Uh, again, check us out on Spotify for more content. If you just want to listen in, check out more videos and stuff. Our main podcast and everything episodes. Check us out on our individual channels as well. For the Chipmunk and Fantaki, check us both out. Fandom Geek Culture is the podcast that we are trying to build up so much. So please do continue to check us out if you do like what we're doing.
So yeah, if you guys liked what you saw here, definitely check out all our other episodes and do tune into our future upcoming episodes we will be posting. And if you have any ideas on what we should maybe discuss, or there's some stuff maybe you would be interested in us just discussing about, do let us know in the comments down below. And like I said, thank you for tuning into us and tune in for upcoming future episodes, everyone. And take care, everyone.
Yes. Take care. Y'all have a good one. And more stuff for Halloween stuff, hopefully with mini pods.
Oh yeah, that's definitely before we end this, all of October, all the podcasts surrounding this October season will be a lot horror themed types of stuff. Halloween horror themed stuff that deals with the season, pretty much. So do tune into our upcoming episodes if you definitely are a fan of horror. Definitely a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yep, yep. Alrighty, peace, y'all. Thank y'all again.